Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people on the line on the starting lineup. I was like,
oh yeah, it was
weird. A new Turner, new Long, Sam Vines, Areola, Acosta. Robson's going to start at center back next to
We all
Long.
remember what Felicity did against
It's game day.
The score player Patrick. So
yeah, man, 10 minutes kicking off against Trinidad and Tobago. Starting lineups just came out probably 15, 20 minutes ago. There was a couple of surprises, but we can run through them real quick.
For sure.
So starting at keeper, we got that right. Matt Turner, who arguably I think is the number 2 keeper right now for the United States national team behind Zach Steffen. He arguably could potentially challenge for that starting spot eventually. But Matt Turner starting at keeper. For the defense, our captain, Aaron Long, we predicted that to happen. He's one of the more experienced guys on this roster. Recently, there has been rumors with him having a bunch of links, loan opportunities going over to Europe and England and France.
Liverpool was said?
Liverpool was said. I don't know how true that was, but I did hear there's a couple like championship division sides that we're trying to get at him. I think Reading was one of the teams that I heard. But apparently New York Red Bulls, they declined one of the loan offers. They wanted to keep him.
I forgot who that was.
Yeah, there was a decline in the loan offer, but it's good to see Long getting interest in Europe right now. He is 28. He's probably at the prime of his career right now. So if he were to make a move into Europe, I think now would be the right time for him.
For sure.
Looks like starting at the other center back position, Miles Robinson, who I've talked about in the past, the center back for Atlanta United. He was in the team of the year, I believe, not this year, but last season he made team of the season. He's played through the youth system, and he's been on the national team before. It's good to see him get another chance back with the starting lineup. We got Sam Vines, who we predicted him to be starting again at the left back position, which right now I have him as the number 2 left back behind Robinson over at Fulham. When you look at our right back position, it's really stacked with a lot of talent, and the left back position is that position that we really need a lot more depth when it comes to the defensive position. So we got Sam Vines starting at left back, and then right back. Let's see.
Right, Jackson Ewell or right?
Yeah, I think Jackson Ewell is starting at right back. Is that a debut for him?
I believe he may have one other start.
No.
Doesn't have a lineups on here.
But just we're gonna see probably a lot of debuts today, in my opinion. Just going off of the roster and seeing everybody that we've got.
Mm-hmm.
Give me one sec, guys.
FS1 for anybody who wants to watch.
Yeah, 7 p.m. So the kickoff will be in about 14 minutes. There was a couple of surprises that when it came to this lineup, they had. So it looks like Jonathan Lewis is going to be starting at the number 9 position up top at striker, which is kind of a surprise, as Chris Mueller and Daryl DK are both on the bench for this game. Chris Mueller obviously had a wonderful game the last time the United States team came out. He had 2 goals in his debut. And with Daryl DK, he was hurt last game, so he wasn't able to play. So I was predicting him to get this start, especially with him not being able to play last time with having an injury. Definitely expecting him to get a start in this matchup. But if those were going to be some subs, I would predict Mueller and DK would be 2 of the first guys to be subbed in on the squad.
For sure. I would have liked to see that pairing to start the game personally.
Yeah, both of them up top. They got Sebastian Lletget. Everybody does know how much Berhalter loves him. It's kind of becoming a Frank Lampard and Mason Mount type thing right now, to where any type of team, Sebastian Lletget's in the lineup. Which, at the end of the day, he's not a bad player. Really
he deserves it.
He deserves. He's the false 9 position. Now that's a whole nother story. But him playing at that cam position, he is relatively good at that position. I think if our strongest cam right now is Gio Reyna, but depending on if they want to play him on the wing or playing him at cam, Sebastian Lletget could be starting. If you want to say Reyna starts at right wing, you could say Lletget would be the best cam position we have. So Lletget would be starting. Kellen Acosta finally back into the squad again. He's getting another start. We've seen him play throughout 2017 and 2018. It's really good to see Acosta back in this lineup. I know he's playing. He was with FC Dallas, and he's with a new club now, so it's good to see him get back into this lineup, and I think he's going to be really well.
I'd like to see
Areola,
injury stories.
Yeah, Paul, and picking up on that, Areola, he's starting again. Obviously, coming off the ACL tear with DC United, played last time the United States was out, scored a goal. There have been rumors that he potentially could be Jordan Morris over there in Wales and Swansea City. There's kind of been some rumors within the last week or two saying he might be the next guy to go over there. Nothing's been confirmed yet. Really haven't heard anything else recently about it. But I think it would be a really good move for him too. He's kind of just like a Jordan Morris player with the speed and technically, he has the quality to go play over there in Europe, and I think he would excel really well. But if he can come out and have another good show in this game, I think that's just going to help him.
Just to talk about players in Europe that are catching eyes, getting off of this roster for a second. Apparently, Berhalter has said that he's very interested in having Julian Green and Aronson get on the roster.
Yeah, which is definitely deserving. Julian Green has 8 goals and 3 assists this year for his side in the Bundesliga 2 second division. And right now they are in the promotion zone right now to where they finish the season at where they're at. They're getting promoted. He'll be in the top tier in the Bundesliga. He potentially could get brought back up. A team up there in the first division could be looking at him to bring in as he's more of a –
if they don't get promoted,
honestly. A camp position or a box-to-box position now to where – everybody remembers him in 2014. He was a young winger that we brought in. He scored that goal against Belgium in extra time, the ball he had. But he's more of a center mid position now, and it seems that the coach, the manager he's finally playing with, he's played a bunch of positions throughout his whole career, and finally this team, this manager is finally, this is a position we want you playing, and he's producing. He's arguably playing the best soccer he's played his whole career right now.
Yeah, which at 25 is the time you should be doing
exactly, because he's just coming into his prime right now. I mean, he's only 25, sure. So he's still young. I mean, 25 is still young in soccer terms. So I mean, he's definitely going to get a look. And then Aronson, there had been rumors he might be going back to the MLS potentially to play in the MLS. But Aronson, he's also been playing really excellent too, and it's going to be great to see him to get pulled back up into the squad.
No betties? Huh? No betties? Nah, I'm not drinking.
Amped.
How many people we have watching?
We got 2 people.
Who are they?
I don't know.
Okay, one's me. You're about to be that one.
But we got
what's your viewership like these days? Huh? What's your viewership like these days?
They're doing well, honestly.
Yeah,
the viewership's better than the listening.
Like 1 million?
1.2 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I like your sweater.
Thank you.
Joe, come on. We can't be political.
Yeah. What about the Brian Reynolds news?
So he's there.
He started on Boris Johnson.
And so, yeah, Brian Reynolds landed in Roma today, which is awesome news, honestly. I thought it was kind of funny how many people were there, taking pictures and protecting him as he walked through the area and this and that. I don't know how many people in Rome know who Brian Reynolds is, where he probably doesn't need people escorting him out of the airport.
Yeah.
How many Americans don't know who Brian Reynolds is? But I don't know. I kind of thought that gave me a good little laugh. I'm pretty sure somebody like Pulisic could probably fly into Roma and not get caught. Like people being like, "Oh, it's Christian Pulisic."
Yeah.
So that gave me a good laugh. The video is on Twitter or YouTube if anybody wanted to watch it. It gave me a good little laugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's just good to see him going over there because the reports were it's like a 4.5 year deal, and arguably he's going to be the right back of the future over there at Roma, and he's probably going to be starting relatively soon.
I hope so.
With Forenzi, he doesn't play at the right back position anymore. He's over at center mid, and that's just another right back we have at our stacked right back position. That we have him, we have Dest, we have two. We got
a lot.
Yeah.
We got a lot of wingbacks. All of a sudden, we have defenders.
Yeah.
So, we got somebody to introduce to you guys to. Our guest of the evening is Mr. Timothy Russell Copperwheat. Tim, come on in. Tim's here to watch the game with us. He is a ginormous Barcelona fan. Serginho Dest is carrying the defense pretty well over there, as he says who. It's good to see him just have more people involved. Soccer's a fun sport, football, as Tim doesn't like to call it. But we're glad to have him here enjoying the game. The first game that the United States is playing in front of fans in, I think, 380 days was the number. So that's pretty cool because, in Florida, you can do whatever. So they're playing in front of people over there.
I'd like to address this football-soccer thing.
Football versus soccer.
I will acknowledge that as Americans, we were really, not us, like our grandparents, were really dumb to call it football when that literally existed. But we're dug in. Like, what are we going to do? Change our most popular sport now?
And then Europe calls it egg ball, I believe. Sarcastically.
Yeah.
So for those who are already on FS1, yes, you are watching NFL Turning Point, talking about the NFL postseason.
Really called egg ball?
No.
You're stupid.
But let's see.
Football highlights before the soccer game.
Yeah. See, I wish there was some kind of pregame that we could be going off of that. But
Where they had the lineups.
well, I think kickoff is. I don't think kickoff is going to be
At
7 o'clock.
No.
When they play over in Europe, it's like, all right, kickoff is 3 o'clock, and everybody's on the field at 2:54, and it's like everybody's standing there waiting for the ref to blow the whistle at 3. 3. And I guess they don't do that here. They're like, all right, we'll start it. Yeah, we got this. We'll start it whenever. I mean, you've watched MLS games. How long?
Yeah.
8:15 is not 8:15. 8:15 is 8:47.
Yeah.
And I hope that that's not the case today. I hope 7 o'clock means 7:05, 7:10. But obviously, by law, we can't show the screen. So we're gonna do a little commentary. Not full on commentary, but talk about the players that are on the field. What's going on? Hopefully, no injuries to discuss. Things of that nature. It should be fun little time. I'll have a couple of beverages, non-alcoholic because I can't do that on camera, and we'll eat some pizza.
Yeah.
Huh? No, it's not. It's not. This is black tea.
Black tea. You legally can't show the game?
Yeah.
Sucks. I was just about to ask, like, if you have the tech to, how something to watch.
Yeah, you have the tech. That would have been cool. But yeah, whenever we get signed with Fox Sports, obviously.
Any day now, really. Yeah.
Any day now. We're waiting on the call.
Yeah, I think some soccer stuff back here.
Yeah.
Do you guys, is this where you always film?
No, I usually film in the room, but these are all the pictures of my fiance and I. If you guys are interested in that, yeah. If anybody's using the chat, this obviously is our first live stream. If you want to put in the comments how the sound is going, because I can't verify it, that we'd always love that. We appreciate all of the viewer that we have during the. No, I'm kidding. There's 2.
There's 2. It's twice as many. Is there a way for you to see who it is? Can you interact with them?
Mm-mm. Well, they can interact if they're signed in. Send it to Guillermo. He can be a little bot in here.
You should get a call-in number. I'm pretty sure they have things you can get on your phone that'll change your number.
Google. Is that the app that really does it?
I don't know.
I think right. What's Google
or you can
Voice?
just give them your real number, but
that's true.
Google Voice.
Give all 10 of them my number.
Yeah.
Because the people that listen probably don't have my number. Yeah. But it sounds fine. Cool.
It's a different.
6:57.
Well,
See, coverage begins at 7 p.m.
Coverage begins at 7 p.m.
Not kickoff. Yeah.
Well, also you guys can watch it on Unimas or Tulin if you want to watch it in Spanish.
Jessica's so supportive.
You guys are doing
So
great.
sweet.
Thank you, Jessica Jones. Okay, I thought that looked like a tear emoji. It's smiling. It's I can't read.
Yeah.
It's a
Doesn't
really-
it? That's
really
a
cute
that's a
baby in the
weird
picture.
emoji from YouTube.
Whatever parents made that baby should be proud for sure.
Oh wow, what a beautiful child. Who made that?
Yeah, so coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's not going to be kickoff like we were saying. Kickoff's probably
Well, that's good though, because I want to see a little bit of
7:10 or 7:15.
little coverage. See Berhalter talk a little bit. But I kind of just want to get some people's opinion really quick, just because we are a week away. Tim, who's winning the Super Bowl?
I'm gonna go Chiefs on this one.
Seems like the
Pretty open
safe
game. I'm
bet.
excited. I do consider this to be the best quarterback matchup in a Super Bowl ever. I think this is very MJ, LeBron. If they ever got to meet in the finals in the early 2000s, I think this is that.
So
I think
maybe
by the
if
end
the
of
Lakers played
Mahomes'
the Bulls in
career-
'99. Maybe if the Lakers played the Bulls in '99.
I think if at the end of Mahomes' career, he'll either be past Brady or be number 2.
I know we're talking about the other football that you guys might not want to hear about if you're actually watching the stream, but just with us being a week away from the Super Bowl, it's nice to get a little conversation going.
Have the game on, you know that.
Yeah,
it's
on TV.
They're talking about football on FS1 right now, before the coverage for the game starts. But Stephen A. Smith cracked me up yesterday saying that if Patrick Mahomes loses his Super Bowl, he'll never be in the GOAT conversation.
He won't. I agree with that take. How would he ever be able to pass Brady
if he wins 11 Super Bowls?
Yeah, I guess that's true. But
Like
that's
Brady
a scenario that's so unlikely to happen.
Brady lost to Eli. He can't be the GOAT. Twice.
I mean, Mahomes is a pre-snap penalty away from going to 3 Super Bowls in 3 years. And then
that's amazing. That's
nobody
amazing.
has come close to doing
If a 43-year-old Tom Brady beats Mahomes in the Super Bowl, that'll always be. It's not like they're going to meet again.
So
this is going to be their one match.
LeBron lost to Dirk. He can't be the GOAT.
Because Dirk's not in the conversation. But if LeBron lost to MJ in the finals, or LeBron beat MJ in the finals, all the people argue LeBron MJ's case closed.
So when you're saying MJ, you mean like Wizards MJ?
If the Wizards played the Cavs in,
I don't think that's necessary. I'd say more like 99 Bulls.
But also, 43-year-old Tom Brady is a lot better than most quarterbacks at 25, 26.
100%.
Yeah.
So
you're just helping the GOAT argument.
Yeah, so you can't
So
just
if
be
a
like, oh, he's 43.
Yeah.
Like, that's why the whole Max Kellerman thing with the whole cliff, like he's been saying Brady's supposed to hit the cliff 3 years ago. But he's like,
been saying that since he was 36.
But Brady's he's the only person that's ever done this.
Brady
this old and played this.
Brady was the GOAT a decade ago. Like,
maybe.
He's like, since he came, yeah.
Mahomes will get him on MVPs.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, it's 7:00, and we're still looking at.
I got a match start up from ESPN, so I don't love that.
What is she watching?
Bridgerton.
Is it good?
I don't know, man. My parents watched the entire season today.
Ready to go in Orlando. Coverage
begins at so Twitter's saying coverage begins at 7. ESPN just told me the match started.
There we go. Okay, coverage just kicks off. Just so you do know, one of the big news for this is Josie Altidore won't be playing.
Yeah,
as he did pick up a slight injury in training a couple days ago, so he is match fit. But Josie Altidore will not be playing in this match. So if you were trying to tune in to see Josie playing,
one of the only guys that Tim would have known in the starting lineup is not playing because Altidore got hurt.
Josie Altidore.
They named the starting 11.
Yeah, they did.
Probably, but
if you were watching our live stream, you saw our starting 11.
And I know.
I think you should tell the viewers that you don't recommend.
I don't recommend watching our live stream while you drive. So get home and watch.
Yeah. So we got Marisa Du, Alexi Lawless, and yeah. So upcoming calendar, we got CONCACAF Olympic qualifying. That's going to be in 2 months. I mean, February is tomorrow, but that'll be in March 2021. June 2021 is CONCACAF Nations League. We're going to finish that out. I believe the USA is in the semifinals right now for that tournament. They got the Gold Cup coming up in July and August in 2021. And then lastly will be FIFA World Cup qualifying, which is going to be from September to March of 2022, with the World Cup being in November of 2022, I believe.
The World Cup is next year.
Yeah, technically next year. It's not going to be in the summer like usual. It's going to be in the winter this time.
We are going to have, I think the World Cup semifinals is Thanksgiving weekend.
Where'd you say it was?
Qatar.
Yeah.
What are the weather do you like?
In the winter, like 90s. Mm-hmm. That's why it's in the winter.
That's why it's in because if it was opposite, it would be like 20
I got a little
degrees.
That maybe
they'll be playing in the snow. The World Cup in the snow.
That'd be amazing. It'd be the best chance USA had.
2026 when it's here is the best chance we have.
Oh, they're gonna have a game in Atlanta. We're definitely going to that game
for sure
in Atlanta because I know Charlotte's not gonna get a game. Atlanta.
They announced the.
New York will get a game.
They announced the sites. We should pull that up.
Well, like the more optional sites, not where they're going to be.
And, AMC and Jamie going to the moon. We're going to be rich by then. We can go to every game.
Yeah.
Dogecoin, right, David? What's it called?
Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. Really?
Yeah. I sold it when it was at 8 cents, and it's at 2 now.
Oh yeah, I lost mine.
But wasn't it as high as like $1 at one point?
No. The highest I got was 8 cents.
8 cents. I sold it at 8.
When did you buy it?
when it was at 1/4, and I bought 203 shares.
And then how much did you get on it? Make on it?
$35.
It obviously paid off.
$35
Like,
on a $5 investment.
why? Because
I bought it at 5 cents and then sold it like around 7 or 6 because I was seeing if it was going to go higher.
Let's ride this to the moon, and I wrote it until it made sense.
Yeah.
We saw that calendar right there. He cannot afford to waste a single day, a single day, or a single game, including tonight. In U.S. soccer circles for the last couple of years, the expectations have always been on the U.S. women's national team. Finally,
U.S. women's national team.
Didn't we play a couple days ago? Women's team?
Here's your U.S.
Starting lineup. Okay, here we go. So Sam Vines at left back, Long and Robinson at center back, Herrera at right back. Sebastian Lletget, Acosta, and Jackson Yule are the 3 center mids. Jonathan Lewis at left wing, Paul Areola at right wing.
I played FIFA. I don't know Turner.
Matt Turner, arguably the second best keeper for the national team. It's his debut, but he's probably second best behind Zach Steffen.
And I feel like I probably should.
Ferreira.
Yeah. Heard the name.
I believe Ferreira has his debut. I think this is his debut match.
About 8 of those starting 11 are on my Barcelona team.
Yeah, the Barcelona team.
Yeah, I mean B squad. But.
So they're playing a 4-3-3. It looks like.
GT, they're now managed by former England international Terry Fennick, who represented the 3 Lions in the '86 World Cup, which means
Hey. So the manager for Trinidad and Tobago played against Maradona back in the day.
Oh, I need my Maradona.
How the Soca Warriors line up tonight, Lex. Oh yeah, another classic Terry Fennick 11 right here. You know it, you love it. Look, he's putting his players in a storefront.
Please tell me that's a father son. It's Fortune and Fortune the second.
Fortune and Fortune the second. It might be.
They looked exactly the same though. Are they twins that have the same name?
It's like, oh, this one came out.
Sorry guys. When I'm here, I'll get to the bottom of this.
We're gonna get some research on this. So Trinidad is also playing a 4-3-3, just like the United States. And the game is now coming up. Latest transfer news, yeah. So it's still pre-match right now. When coverage does come back on, they're going to be talking about the recent transfer news for the national team. We did talk about earlier Brian Reynolds going to Roma. Aronson obviously is over at Salzburg now. He completed that move. We have Mark McKenzie over in the Belgium league now. He's recently transferred. DeAndre Yedlin too. DeAndre
That's a big one.
Yedlin just left Newcastle, and he's going to.
Did you know about that one, Tim?
I'm reading about Fortune. He plays
DeAndre
for
Yedlin is not
Carolina.
on Newcastle.
Really?
It says he plays for North Carolina FC.
Oh, dope.
Fortune.
So he plays in Raleigh.
Yeah, he plays in Raleigh.
Yep.
What about Fortune too?
Okay, so only one of them is listed on here. It's Dre Fortune.
On their roster.
And then when I click on him, it says Andre Dre Fortune 2. So maybe I said the pictures look like, I think they're playing the same person. Is this like
in 2
like
different positions?
Like a bot?
Some dark Sith technology probably? They cloned them?
But I think the move that I'm most excited for is DeAndre Yedlin, to finally see him get some playing time. Recently, within the last month or two, he's gotten more time for Newcastle United, which is really good to see him. It's really good to see him getting that time for Newcastle. But
sorry guys,
probably
I'm back.
the last week or two, he hasn't been playing. It's great to see him get this transfer because he's most likely going to be starting at the right back position, which, like we said, it stacks us on to that stacked right back position we have with
Angela Copperweek, go USA, thanks.
Sergino Dest, Brian Reynolds, Reggie Cannon, DeAndre Yedlin. That's 4 deep right now. We're all 4 starting right backs in Europe right now.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great move for Yedlin, and Yedlin needs it at this time because if he wants to be in the competition for a spot for World Cup qualifying and on this World Cup squad, I don't think he starts. I think Sergino Dest is that number 1 right back right now. He's put himself ahead of the other 3, but if Yedlin wants a position as a backup or maybe like a super sub coming in, you need like a wing back position to sub in. I think he'd be the right guy to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, just going off the DeAndre Yedlin, I did read that there may have been some kind of visa issue, going with the fact that England did just leave, finally Brexit after 17 years after the vote was. I don't know how long it's been, but it finally went through, and that's why it took however long for Soto to get back. They apparently wanted him earlier.
And Soto's finally there. They did confirm that Soto was traveling, and he did arrive back in Norwich.
So Soto's back in Norwich, and that took a while.
I will say, with Soto, that red card was probably the most tactical red card he had, probably back in December, because you remember he got called into the camp after that red card because he wasn't going to be able to play the next 3 games. He gets called back into camp for a second time, gets a second game under his belt for the United States national team, and arguably that helped him get this visa. So that red card was a really great tactical move on his part.
But everybody was saying that maybe DeAndre Edlin had fallen out of favor with Steve Bruce, and it sounds like it had nothing to do with that. Also, we do have a countdown to kickoff is 16 minutes, so that makes a 7:25 kickoff, as we said.
7:25 kickoff.
They don't know what they're doing with that kind of stuff.
So here's the notable MLS departures. They do have it up on the screen right now. We talked about Jordan Morris. He just recently went over to Swansea, had his debut over the weekend. Aronson and McKenzie, the 2 Philadelphia Union guys, going to Salzburg and Vienna.
Joe Scaly of Long Island going from New York City FC to Borussia Mönchengladbach, now officially my favorite player in Germany.
And for people that don't know Scaly, him and Gio Reyna are really good friends.
He's a child. He's like
they played together over in the New York City Academy. And so now they're both over in Germany, and I know Reyna's going to be one of those guys that are going to talk to him a bunch. And then the last one I have on the screen was obviously Brian Reynolds, who just over at Roma now. So it's just really good to see all these MLS guys getting the opportunity to go over to Europe. And right now it seems that Americans are the wave right now over in Europe. It kind of seems like if you're a top team in one of these top divisions, you want to get a young American on your squad, because you're seeing what Pulisic, McKinney, Dest, Adams, Reyna, you're seeing what they all can do right now, and the future is bright for the national team. And I think Europe is picking up on this, and they're trying to, find that next really good young American to bring in at 19 years old.
For sure.
And they be the starter on their squad for the next decade.
Yeah, and a big I can't believe already Aronson is playing minutes and playing well. He got an assist, I believe,
in his debut.
He got an assist in his debut, which was not surprising or anything like that, but pretty awesome. Just for him to get already in the starting lineup, already playing really well. It's I don't want to say shot the hell out of me that he's been getting game time already, but a little bit for sure.
I mean, he was really good with Philadelphia Union. He was arguably the best midfielder in all of the MLS. So it's really great to see him should go over to Europe and get playing time right now. I will say with Jordan Morris, I've seen a couple of fans be complaining on Twitter and Facebook, mostly Seattle fans, just not really understanding. They're like, oh, why would you bring Morris on loan if you're not going to play him right away? He's in the championship division with Swansea, and that is a step up from the MLS. Regardless if Seattle's one of the better teams in the MLS, the championship division is a better league than the MLS.
It is.
And he's not just going to walk in.
Just wait till Northampton Town is there next year.
I mean, he's not just going to – when it comes to Jordan Morris, he's not just going to walk in on day one and he's going to start right away at right wing. They obviously have good players. If they're right now sitting in the number 2 position in their division, they have great players that have been scoring for them. But I say just give Jordan Morris time. He had a 7-8 minute debut over the weekend. They are going to be playing Norwich City coming up. They got a big FA Cup match, I think, against Man City coming up.
That could be.
So I mean, that's a tough game
Stephen
for Jordan
territory.
Morris. Yeah, and Stephen could be playing that. That would be a tough game for Jordan Morris. So I mean, if he wants to prove himself over in Europe, that would be really, really well to see him over there.
So
over there,
kind of we're exploring the chat a little bit, seeing what questions the group has out there that are watching. 3 things to watch tonight. I think number one, and in my opinion, the most important thing is Matt Turner at goalkeeper, because Zach Steffen he's over at Manchester City, and everybody seems to think he's the best goalkeeper that the United States has. He starts. What do you think? If you did a percentage, 1 out of every 5-6 games
for Man City, it's probably
at best
20% chance. It's probably under 20%, honestly, per game. it might be like a 1 out of every 6 or 7 matches he plays, which would be like a 13% out of
exactly. So
like every game, to where Matt Turner starts game in and game out over there for his club in the MLS. He's gotten his first call up. He's gonna start this whole match. He's not gonna make this other keeper.
Yeah.
I think Turner's good enough to go play in Europe. I think if Turner has a good showing and he shows well throughout this year, because they got CONCACAF Nations Leagues and they got the Gold Cup, and depending on COVID-19 restrictions, you could see a bunch of these European guys not being on these squads, to where it's going to be MLS heavy, to where you're going to have Matt Turner starting to keep in goal.
Obviously, I'd love to see a mix, but I don't think that's something that we're going to get.
I think the mix is going to come when it comes to World Cup qualifying, because that's actual FIFA regulations, and they're going to let players go. But for CONCACAF Nations Leagues and for the U23s and Gold Cup, there might be some clubs that don't want their players to go back to the U.S. or go travel somewhere and then risk missing 2-3 weeks in club season because of quarantine and COVID-19 procedures. So I think Matt Turner is that number 2 keeper right now, and he has the potential to become the number 1 keeper right now. Obviously, Stefan is number 1, but Turner's number 2, and I think he's the best we have in the MLS when it comes to goalkeeper position. So he's definitely that number 1 thing to be watching. I would say, other than Matt Turner, I'll be really interested to see how Kevin Acosta looks back into the lineup. We haven't seen Acosta play in a while.
For sure.
It's great to see him back in the lineup. Same would go with him. So I'd say Acosta and Areola are like that second thing together. I want to see how Areola plays really well, because there's been rumors with him potentially going over to Swansea to join Jordan Morris and other teams in Europe. So if Areola can come out and have another good showing, get another goal or assist, I think that's only going to help his stock rise to where more clubs in Europe are looking at him. What do you think the third thing is?
So,
looking forward to?
Well, there we go. The She Believes Cup. The schedule's out. The third thing that I think is whatever's going on at striker, whoever's playing, and just hopefully that they're playing well, because I think we've pretty much got our defense figured out. Maybe Aaron Long competing for that second center back position. We know who's in the midfield. We know who's on the wing. We're not really sure who's at striker. And so we're not really sure who's at striker, and I think we have a lot that we need to pay attention to there. So if we keep paying attention to that and seeing what's going on, I know you're big on Josh Sargent. I don't necessarily think he's actually the best striker that we have. For anybody who watched the game yesterday, they did not look very good against Schalke.
It was kind of a letdown.
Schalke versus Hoppe happened yesterday, the 2 Americans playing each other, and it was a bit of a letdown on both sides if you were watching it as an American supporter. Hoppe missed a pretty open goal in the 2nd minute. Yeah. And Sargent took a wild shot from about 20 yards, and it wasn't close. Outside of that was it. They both didn't play the full 90, and Schalke lost. Schalke drew, which was shocker. So, it's that's where I think we need to be paying the most attention, because in my opinion, that striker position is wide open.
Yeah, for sure. There's a big bunch of about 5 to 6 guys where we could say could be potentially starting in the World Cup at striker. It's going to be really interesting to see who within the next year and a half takes that step forward to be in front of everybody else. Also, just found out there is more transfer news. It's going to be Chris Richards is actually getting loaned out to Hoffenheim. He's getting loaned out from FC Bayern Munich, which is really well for him, because he's one of those guys who are going to be battling for that center back position right next to John Brooks right now. You got Aaron Long, you got Zimmerman, you got McKenzie, Miles Robinson over here. He's getting the start right now for the squad. So you got a lot of center backs. So I think him going over to Hoffenheim and being able to start game in and game out Monday, I think that's going to be really, really, really good for Chris Richards.
With that ESPN Plus membership, I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to Hoffenheim. They've got, not a whole lot going for them at the moment. They are Schalke's only win of the season, and Schalke throttled them 4-0. So there's I'd be paying attention to him over there a lot, because I think he could end up being the possibly the second center back, depending on who he has, who they like.
I think right now the top 2 guys. So I would say there's 3 guys that are you got Aaron Long, obviously the guy over in the MLS. You got Mark McKenzie, who just transferred over to Yank. in Belgium League, and then you got Chris Richards. I think those three guys are the top three when it comes to that center back position to be next to John Brooks. I think if it's gonna be someone, it's gonna be one of those three guys. They're gonna be the starting guy next to Brooks come World Cup time.
For sure. And I think we're about 5-6 minutes away from kickoff?
Yeah, it looks kickoff. They said 7:25, so it's about 5 to 6 minutes. They're just talking about a couple players right now. They talked about Miles Robinson earlier, who was in that 2019 Team of the Year for the MLS. He also won the 2018 MLS Cup with Atlanta United just a couple years ago. That's back when they had Jose Martinez and
Almiron over at Newcastle.
That squad was stacked back then. So we got him.
Jesus Ferreira, one career international appearance.
Yeah,
which
I believe he's starting at striker.
Ago.
Yeah, Ferreira's going to be starting at striker. Ariel is over on the right side, and then Jonathan Lewis will be at the left side. When it comes to substitutions for the guys that we're most excited for, it's going to be Daryl DK and Chris Mueller. Those are my two guys. I expect them to be if they aren't subbed in at halftime, they're going to get subbed in early in that second half.
About the hour mark.
And I think, and a lot of people are saying, what's the hype around Daryl DK? He's just going to be another Josie Altidore. For me personally, I don't understand
what would be wrong with that.
I don't see why Josie. I don't understand why he gets so much hate, because it's like a love-hate relationship with the national team supporters and Josie Altidore. Like, you have a section of the national team supporters that absolutely love Josie and think he's the starting striker. He's going to be starting in the World Cup no matter what. Then you got the other section that says he's past his prime. He's not good anymore. He plays with his back to goal.
There's nothing wrong with playing with your back to goal.
And they're
That's
just
an
like,
outlet.
we have so many young guys, Josh Sargent, Hoppe, Soto, that can play in front of and Josie Altidore. And I understand where they're coming from. Yeah, they might have more talent, but nobody has proven themselves. I feel like Josie has proven himself to where right now he still is that starting striker right now.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be crazy. As we just said, who do you from our comments, who do you think is gonna be substituted in tonight? Number one, I think I'm going Daryl DK. Just because of what happened with his last call up, he was probably going to start at striker with that roster. Yeah. Caught a knock and ended up returning to Orlando to kind of rest up and make sure he got a little bit healthier. So he's probably the number one sub that I'm looking forward to seeing. We got his first cap taken away from us. Yeah. Which I mean, you're huge on DK. You're a big supporter of him.
I mean, he's been playing excellent over there at Orlando City, and also his teammate Chris Mueller. I expect to see him get subbed back in, because he played an excellent match. I mean, he has one game for the national team and 2 goals.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can say that. So we have more goals than games played for the national team. But he would definitely be that second guy I definitely want to see get subbed in. And let's not forget about Christian Roldan. He's on the bench for this national team, and he's been a steady guy on the national team for probably the last 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
When you look at Seattle Sounders, their best players, obviously Jordan Morrison's been that number one guy. Right behind him is Christian Roldan. Roldan has been that second best player. Him and Roldan are really great friends. He's a great holding center mid for Seattle. I could definitely see him getting subbed in the second half, Christian Roldan. So it's definitely interesting. There's a lot of guys. Even a young guy, Tanner Testament. He's a young guy on the national team, to where a lot of there was a lot of hype around him. A lot of people were talking about we could potentially see him in the starting lineup for this game. So he's on the bench. I could definitely see him getting brought in. I do. How many subs can they make in this match? It's more than 3, I believe.
No. I mean, it's a FIFA friendly. So as far as I'm concerned, there shouldn't be any rule changes where it's not unlimited subs.
Yeah.
So technically, by FIFA standards, he could come in with a totally different 11 than he started with.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that. That's not something that's normally done unless it's a club friendly, like in the middle of July. Like, for example, if you go to one of the games in Charlotte at their stadium where Arsenal comes and plays here, they're going to throw a whole different 11 out there just to get everybody to kick around. Yeah. And so I expect at least 5 made personally. I don't know.
Maybe more.
I don't know how many people besides the goalie and maybe a couple defenders play the full 90. But with it only being one match, there's not a second game coming up on Wednesday or anything like that. And this is, I think, for a lot of these young guys, this is their last little tryout. And remember, these guys have been in camp for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
this is the longest U.S. camp that I can think of.
This has been a long camp for the national team.
Unless you're playing in a tournament, you don't normally get together for 2 weeks.
No.
So they've been together for a while now, and they kind of know what they've seen. They know who's what and what's going on. So that's why we're seeing the starting lineup that we're seeing, in my opinion.
Yeah, and another thing with these young guys, for these guys who are U23 still, that can be on this U23 Olympic qualifying is coming up.
Yeah,
that's going to be the first team to come up. So for these young guys to get a chance with the national team, because half of this national team was on that U23 roster, because originally this national team roster was only 11 players. Yeah. And then they brought in half the U23 lineup to join this senior team, to where half of these guys are eligible for U23 play. And this game, I think, is going to be a really good game to see how the young guys play, because they're going to get opportunities on this U23 squad, which arguably I would assume that it's going to be mostly MLS guys. I wouldn't see it. I don't think a bunch of European U23s, when it comes to Americans, will be on this roster. I think it's going to be MLS heavy.
For sure.
But there's definitely a lot of talent when it comes to U23s.
Yeah, and I can't confirm on the qualifying aspect of it, but when you do go on to the Olympics, you're allowed to call, is it 3 or 5 players above the age of 23?
Yeah, I think it's 3. I think that's the number.
So the last Olympics, Neymar was on Brazil's roster as a 25-year-old.
Exactly.
And they ended up winning the Olympics. And you're literally allowed to call up X amount of players into that squad, and that's it. Obviously, they're going to be like the best of the best, and they're going to probably start if their clubs are okay with them doing that over the summer.
Exactly. It's definitely interesting to see, because right now they're getting their pre-match photo in, and just being able to see fans back in the stands, like how we talked about at the beginning of this broadcast. There hasn't been fans in over a year with COVID-19 right now. And this game is in Florida, and it's funny because the referees are all wearing masks right now. So obviously they're going to take the mask off to be playing the game.
And when you're running and all
when you're running and all. But it's really interesting to see that there's finally fans back in the stands for a national team game. It's the first time this has happened in 380 days, like you said. So it's definitely going to be a different environment for the national team right now.
Yeah. So we're, I don't know, less than 60 seconds away from halftime. I think it'd be best for us we're going to come back to you guys at the half and kind of just go over how the half went. We don't want you guys not being able to give your full attention to the game. So turn on Fox Sports 1, and we will see you guys in 45 minutes, which puts us at 8:10. All right, guys? Appreciate it. Thanks. I think that was